This is a story about a helpless girl, a cruel aunt, and a neighborhood full of monsters. Imagine this innocent girl locked in a dark, suffocating basement, tied to a wooden pillar, while the people inflicting the torture aren't hardened criminals. They are the neighborhood kids from next door, led by the very aunt who is supposed to provide protection. Left completely helpless, praying for someone to notice the screams, the boy who loves her is forced to watch, completely torn between saving her life and losing his own. This isn't just a random nightmare. It's a horrifying reality that started with a seemingly innocent summer crush. The story kicks off in 1958 in a quiet, idyllic American suburb, framed through the memories of an adult David. Back then, David was just a regular teenage boy living a peaceful life until two orphan sisters, Meg and her crippled younger sister Susan, move in next door. They've just lost their parents in a tragic accident and are sent to live with their aunt Ruth Chandler. David is instantly drawn to Meg. She's beautiful, kind, and resilient despite her grief. As they spend time together by the river, a tender, innocent romance begins to blossom. David falls hard for the girl next door, thinking this summer is going to be unforgettable. But behind the white picket fences of the Chandler household lies an absolute house of horrors. Ruth Chandler is not a loving aunt. She is a deeply unstable, bitter, and sadistic matriarch who encourages her three sons and the neighborhood boys to drink beer and misbehave. Soon, Ruth begins psychological warfare on Meg, projecting her own deep-rooted misanthropic frustrations onto the young girl and falsely accusing her of being promiscuous. When Meg tries to defend her little sister, the verbal abuse escalates to physical punishment. Desperate, Meg reports the abuse to a local police officer, but he completely dismisses her. Learning of this betrayal, Ruth's retaliation is swift and monstrous. She locks Meg in the dark basement, binding her securely with ropes. This is where the film transforms into a pitch-black thriller. Ruth invites her sons and the local neighborhood kids down to the basement, turning Meg's torture into a sick communal game. They subject her to unspeakable physical degradation, and things get even worse when Ruth orders her oldest son to assault her, followed by a horrifying act of branding. David is trapped in a devastating moral dilemma. He sneaks into the basement when the others are gone, trying to comfort Meg, loosen her restraints, and offer her money to escape. He wants to rescue her, but he is paralyzed by fear of Ruth and her violent sons, knowing one wrong move could seal both of their fates. Realizing that the girl he loves will die if he doesn't act immediately, David finally musters the courage to execute an escape plan. Meg tries to flee with Susan, but they are caught. Returning to the house, David finds Meg unconscious and learns a dark family secret from Susan. Pushed to his absolute limit, David sets a fire in the basement to force a distraction. In the chaotic, violent confrontation that follows, David bludgeons Ruth to death to stop her. The police finally arrive to arrest the kids, but the rescue comes at a devastating cost. As David gives Meg back her late mother's necklace, she uses her final moments to express her love before tragically passing away from her injuries. True evil doesn't always hide in the woods. Sometimes it lives right next door. What makes this narrative so deeply disturbing is that it completely strips away the comfort of the safe suburban trope. The horror doesn't come from a supernatural monster, but from the terrifying psychological breakdown of an entire community. The matriarch represents extreme psychopathy masked as parental authority. She systematically breaks down the moral compass of the children around her, turning innocent neighborhood kids into active participants in sadism through peer pressure, conditioning, and manipulation. The story explores the bystander effect to its most radical, sickening extreme. The young protagonist's arc represents the agonizing friction between compliance and conscience. He isn't a traditional action hero. He is a flawed, terrified boy whose delay in acting highlights how easily evil can flourish when good people hesitate. It's a grim reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones waving from across the lawn. So the next time your parents tell you to go outside and make friends with the neighborhood kids, maybe just stay inside and play video games instead. At least the monsters there come with a health bar.